American descendants of slavery, the institution. But Joy Reid's parents are Guyanese and Congolese. Nothing wrong with that at all. Nothing wrong with that, but we're talking about who is the heir. And we're going to get to that little other man who we don't know who. We got a lot of random people that got pulled out of Cracker Jack boxes just to get on and talk. But we're going to talk about Joy Reid too, because when you talk about that, right, what that means for me is that Joy Reid doesn't have ancestors to go back to slavery, Jim Crow, Reconstruction, right? That means if you want to talk about the Congo, she has one parent from the Congo, one parent from Guyana. That means that she is far more of an authority than me to speak on that, because she has people and that civil war that happened in that country, and I think it may be still ongoing. She is an expert and she has family there. If she were to ever sit across from me and say, Yvette, hey, I got this. I don't need you talking about the Congo. I can't say, well, I read King Leopold's Ghost. You can't tell me. No. She has blood there. That means that she has more of a right to talk about that than I do. Knock yourself out, Joy Reid. Now, I want to point out something, because sometimes we tend to think about this as just a black immigrant versus ADOS or whatever. And I don't think it's versus anybody. It's like, who is the heir? What does your line go all the way back to, right? And so if you're talking about reparations, who should be talking? I have a parent who comes from sharecroppers, right? Both come from poverty. I can talk about that because it's in my line, right? Just because I'm light-skinned doesn't mean I don't get to talk about that. It's still my line. And we have it the gamut in this country, because all the way back to slavery, we've talked about this. The women have not been able to protect themselves and their bodies. So we look like everything. So don't try to pull that, well, melanin thing on me. These are just key facts about the 47.9 million blacks in this country. And I want to share with everybody that still, even today, the vast majority, if you look at the vast majority, are ADOS. Like even today, the vast majority of blacks in this country are ADOS. What does that mean, Yvette? Well, the question then becomes, why we can't ever speak for ourselves? See, I want to bring you right back up here for a second. I want to bring you right back up here, because what you have is this young man here too. He's talking about he's bright. You got to understand. Let me slow this down. You have to understand when people are virtue signaling. So I'm going to bring up an article. He has the root where he's talking about what he learned from his father. And then he talks about how his father is Caribbean. That's virtue signaling that there's something distinctly different and better about people that come from a different place who may be black than other people here. Because I didn't hear you talk about anything about the people who built the country and the civil rights movement that allowed your father to come here. I didn't hear anything about them. But here you are being conservative with Jason Whitlock, and we're going to get to him too. We got 3 problematic people in one Negro photo. And the problem becomes, why are we listening to these people? Why are these people influencing our politics? So what I just put up here, because I want to make sure everybody has the data in terms of who we are, in terms of single race. You see Black, Hispanic, and shout out to the Afro Latinos who have been talking and who have been holding into account Latinos for their racism within that group. Shout out to y'all. We have multiracials right there, 5.4 million, non-Hispanic, and then you have single race at 39.6 million. Now, I'm bringing that up just so everybody understands where we are, right? I'm bringing that up just so everybody understands what the numbers look like in this country. The black population in the U.S. has grown 32% since 2000, rising from 36.2 million then to 47.9 million in 2022. Notably, the number of people self-identifying as another race in addition to black has increased nearly 254% since 2010. The arrival of new immigrants from Africa and the Caribbean and elsewhere has been an important contributor to growth to black population growth. In 2022, there were, what does that say? There were 5.1 million black immigrants in the U.S., up from 2.4 million in 2000, according to our analysis of Census Bureau data. Immigrants accounted for 11% of the black population in 2022. Now, I have issues with that number because we're not talking about immigrants and their descendants. So I have issues with that number, but the black population has grown fastest in places that do not typically have black residents, such as Utah. That's got to be black immigrants. Black immigrants, is that y'all? Because we don't usually go and deal with the Mormons like that. Like, y'all got to tell me, y'all hanging out over there? Like, I just want to know. I'm not judging nobody. I'm not judging nobody at all. I just want to know is that what y'all hanging out at? There ain't nobody. Don't. I'm not saying nothing bad to you. But the point I'm trying to make is that we have spoken a long time about disaggregation, meaning that we disaggregate ourselves not because of hate. We disaggregate ourselves from other groups the same way the Asians have done, the same way the Latinos have done. You look at this, everybody's disaggregating just so we can measure and count. So if we count Joy Reid in terms of Black immigrants and their descendants, we have to disaggregate even further and say, wait a minute, we are not in a situation, Joy Reid, where we're even talking about you because this is an escape hatch. A lot of immigrants, Black immigrants say, well, I'm a Black immigrant and Black immigrants have done X, Y, and Z. I'm not saying that's not true. What I am saying is that tell me how your specific people, you have to tell me about the Congolese and you have to tell me about the Guyanese and their particular contribution. And you have to tell me, given that, why should you be speaking on behalf of ADOS, right? Because first of all, Joy Reid, I told y'all all back in 2011 that they was going to tell you that Obama was your reparations. I've been told you that. I've been said that. I've been told y'all they was going to say that. And while you was over there